Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus X 3 HP podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friend. I'm going to start with COVID boy, CHUBAX. How are you doing?
Still alive, but sick, but doing good. Happy to be here.
And also with us, our brother from the West Coast, Arnie. How are you doing?
Hello there. Just trying to stay awake, man.
Well, thank you guys for being with us. This is the Plus 63 HP stable of podcast where we have a review show where we discuss, deep dive, and rate a show or a movie that usually comes out Mondays or Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we have a D&D show where me, Chubax, RJ, Angelo, and our friend Isa run our very first D&D campaign. We record it and put it on the YouTubes for posterity. We're having a great time with our very first campaign, and we're looking to continue on our almost 2-year run of that particular campaign. We also have a show where we curate a list of videos, featurettes, clips, trailers, where we act to them, see how hyped we are for that upcoming content so that you can be hyped along with us as well. And occasionally, RJ and Chubax have a second D&D campaign where they're bad guys. So those are all of our shows. So make sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell on youtube.com/plus 60HP so you know when any of our new content drops. You can also interact with us on all of our socials. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram with the handle at plus 63HP. If you don't want to watch us video on demand, you can listen to us while you're working or doing your chores. Just search plus 63HP on your podcasting application of choice. Our favorites are Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. With that, we are just going to get into it right away. This week, we have a special treat. We are discussing the recently released on cinemas, but quickly to video on demand. Very fun movie, Fall Guy, with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. That is directed by David Leitch, written by Drew Pierce. So David Leitch, very fun facts about him. Um, this is Fall Guy is his love letter to stunt men and stunt women, usually the unsung heroes of movies. They do a lot of dangerous things, and the lead actors and actresses are the ones that get the credit. But David Leitch himself was a stunt double, particularly for Brad Pitt. Um, he was also a stunt double for Jean Claude Van Damme. Um, he was a SAG him excuse me him and his team is a two-time SAG award winner for stunt coordination, one for the Born Ultimatum series. So um that's kind of like cool. His directorial debut, although uncredited, was in John Wick, where he co-directed it with Chad Stahelski. But he has helmed action movies such as Atomic Blonde with my ex-girlfriend Charlize Theron.
Mm-hmm.
He also directed Deadpool 2. He directed Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. And a lot of these like super cool fun action flicks like Nobody or Mr. Nobody with Better Call Saul lead guy, Bullet Train, and Violent Night, which is that Santa Claus thing with
Oh, really? That
Stranger
was fun.
Things. Yep, that's him too. So this is definitely within his realm. Um, Other actors in this movie include future what's his name? Hunter. Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's going to be
Craven
Craven
the
the
Hunter.
Hunter.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hannah Waddingham, my
I didn't know.
ex-girlfriend
Yeah,
from Ted Lasso series.
The shame
Horrible.
now. The
Yeah,
shame now.
I
Shame
didn't even
Lady.
notice her at the
Uh,
first. It was my wife that noticed her.
Yeah. Just weird, very weird wig. And we have Winston Duke. This was released on March 12th in South by Southwest, and then a week later in the cinemas. But or on May 3rd in the cinemas, but it only had a couple of weeks run in the cinema, and then after 2 weeks of its 2 week run, so essentially 6 weeks from its US debut, it was already released to video on demand, which is kind of like controversial because
Sucks.
although the movie is budgeted at $130 million, and then it is listed that it has only made
Oh boy.
$148 million, which means like it's not a box office hit, but it's a fun movie. It's fairly critically acclaimed. So a lot of people are some are split between being happy that awesome movies like this can go onto streaming right away, but also a lot of people are concerned that this is kind of propagating the idea that nobody goes to cinemas anymore and everybody just waits for everything to come out on streaming. So
Mm-hmm.
that is
Uh,
our
yeah.
stats with the Fall Guy 2024, directed by David Leitch. Before we get into the detailed plot, we want the instant reactions of the people in our panel. So Arnie, what did you think about Fall Guy, non-spoilery, before we get into the details? Sure.
Well, I liked it. It's decent movie. I actually like the meta Hollywood callbacks to previous movies and all that stuff. So I guess that's the part I enjoyed more. Uh, and the story went to. I didn't expect that story will end there. We'll go there, but okay. Yeah. Uh, but
Chubax?
yeah, I did like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It wasn't as epic as I would have wanted it, but it was
Yeah.
great. It was fun and a light and great action, and yeah, it was good acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is also I enjoyed it. It was super fun. I saw it in the theater, saw it by myself, had like a whole a pizza pie and a couple of Diet Coke. So it was a great experience. It's 126 minutes, so just 2 hours. So
Yeah.
it's short, it's tight, it's action packed, it's funny. Of course, the story wasn't, there's not a lot of depth in layers,
Yeah.
but at least it had some,
Yeah.
like it
Mm-hmm.
had some semblance of a story. Um, yeah, so I too was very, very surprised why this went to streaming right away. Like surprised in both good and a bad way. Like
Well,
it's good because a lot of people will watch it. But I really thought that this was going to be uh the start of like the summer blockbuster hits
yeah.
kind of thing, because it was getting a lot of really good
Yeah,
reviews. So
I have
before
a
I watched.
feeling that if the strike ended early, this would have come out just after Barbie and Oppenheimer. It could have
Yeah.
rode the coattails of that, but because it came out later, like when did this came out? What, April? April something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
came May
Oh,
3rd.
May 3rd. Oh, yeah. So that's yikes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think this suffered from the strike kind of like
Mm.
and then I would even say even the marketing was not uh as good as like their classic summer blockbuster movies.
Yeah, I guess it
Yeah,
didn't have that much of a marketing budget. But yeah, I mean, it's there is the trend of more recently movies that have the bigger movies that have come out has had like a precipitous drop between its first and second week. So I
yeah,
guess people are
yeah,
not watching movies multiple times anymore. So yeah, but that
yeah,
is kind of again that's the trend. I hope it makes people make better movies to compel people to watch it in the cinema more, not
yeah,
the other way around. I would hate for movies to just start losing its quality so that and encourage more and more people to just
yeah.
wait for it on streaming.
Yeah, because I still have a feeling, like I said, it could have came out after Barbie or after the Oscars with Ryan, just on their main star with Ryan Gosling. If it came out just after the award season, it would have the
Mhm.
momentum would have helped the movie. But so I think either the marketing people didn't do their job, or whoever scheduled the release date kind of like miscalculated.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
just curious. The reviews are positive, like it's 81% in Rotten
yeah,
Tomatoes, 7.1% on the critical review. So 7.1 out of 10 in
yeah,
Metacritic. So it's pretty good. A minus
yeah.
actually on Post Track.
Wow.
So it's
Okay.
I think this is more an audience thing rather than the movie thing. But let's see what happens with movies moving forward. It's gonna
Yeah.
be the first summer blockbuster season that we're gonna hit soon. And we'll figure out. But I'll run through the synopsis real quick, and then we'll talk about our ratings and our favorite parts. But essentially, the movie is about a Hollywood stunt performer named Colt Stevens. He has a little fling with a first DP, director of
Mhm.
photography, camera woman, Emily Blunt. And Colt Severs is a long time stunt double for like giant action star
Yeah.
Tom Ryder, played by Eric
Tom
Taylor
Rider.
Johnson. The movie essentially, yeah, Tom Ryder. So the movie essentially starts when Colt, having made to do a stunt yet again by Tom Ryder, because it's usually like, he didn't cover his face, or his face was a little bit too seen in
Yeah.
that particular stunt. He wanted Colt to do it again. And then he gets injured in this stunt where he's falling off a very, very high spot from a building.
Hmm.
And then we cut to 18 months later, where we see Colt seemingly abandoning his career as a stunt man,
Yeah.
but also just ghosting his beau, his
Joy.
fling, his lovey-dovey.
Hmm.
Um, Now Colt is just a
Hmm.
valet in a Mexican restaurant somewhere in I don't know where. I think it was still in Hollywood of some
Yeah.
sort. That she's being recognized by other B-list actors as, "Oh, hey, you're the stunt guy," etc., etc. But Gail Meyer, which is Tom's film producer, which is, I like the fact that this is a lot of inside baseball, a lot of things
Yeah.
we do not see in Hollywood production, like, how involved camera, you see that people that are the cameramen and camerawomen are getting into the directing business, which will happen to Emily Blood. We have producers, not necessarily assistants, handling careers of these stars. But Gail um kind of coaxes Colt out of retirement to be the stunt man for this particular film, because Tom is quote unquote missing, and he's the only one. Um, oh, so sorry. Gail coaxes Colt to be the stunt man for this particular movie where Tom's in, because she says that Tom is, insistent that he's the best, etc., etc. But also
Joy
the
wants him.
director for this
Yeah.
movie, yeah, yeah. So Jody was the one that wanted him in this particular movie.
Jody.
I seemingly. So Colt goes to Sydney, where this film is being filmed, which is called Metal Storm, a science fiction epic with cowboy,
Space
cowboy,
Cowboy.
space cowboy battling aliens, but space cowboy has a romance with one of the aliens, etc., etc. But once he gets there and realizing that Jody didn't know that Colt was going to be there, and and it wasn't Jody who asked for Colt to be in the film, but it was Gail to cover for Tom Ryder disappearing. Um, Tom also Gail gives Cole the assignments of just finding Tom and bringing him back to set. So the years and years and years of Colt being Tom's body double. They've known their habits, like we see all throughout the movie. We see all of the weird diva stuff that Tom does that Colt already knows. Like, he writes everything on a post-it. He talks to his dog in French, etc., etc. So he has some, because of their long time together, he has some inside knowledge there. But it also kind of like takes a while before uh Jody and kind of Colt gets to connect with each other again, eye to eye. One of the fun sequences here is uh uh Jody doing a particular fairly difficult stunt where um uh Colt is on fire, being blown into a boulder multiple times. Um so that's kind of like one of the fun things that, maybe directors do to their stuntmen and women again, but they start to rekindle their friendship and hopefully buds into romance. But going back to his assignment, Colt goes to um Tom's hotel. First, like, Colt goes to Tom's apartment in Sydney, where he gets attacked by another actress with a fake sword, but nice action sequence. Um, then he figures out that in order to find Tom, he needs to go to this particular hotel, asks this particular something to a receptionist or a concierge, and he'll get a key to a particular place where Tom parties, etc., etc. Um, Fun little comedic chop there, but also another kind of nod where, this is how actors and actresses live when you are abroad. Like you live out in hotels, you have these weird, crazy parties with people. But Colt goes to this room, finds a dead body, which essentially is something that someone is framing Colt for. Uh, and then Colt again tries to find people that have provided drugs to Tom, and then these goons drug him, and then essentially after that, there's a nice chase sequence all around Sydney Harbor, with the his Miami Vice jacket, his
Yeah.
Miami
I
Vice
love
stunt
it.
with a speed. And the night essentially ends with Colt being framed for the death of uh, uh, a person, which turns out to be the current stunt double of Tom, and now he's on the run in his life. Colt and Jody kind of rekindles their relationship around this. And then Winston Duke is apparently Colt's best bud, and then they kind of help each other out to figure what had happened to the stunt double, right? Uh, we Colt tracks down Alma, which is Tom's PA, and apparently, like, that PA has a phone that has something um that will kind of show what had happened and where uh Tom is. There's an action sequence in terms of Colt getting the phone from Alma, and
Great set
consequently the
pieces.
the B story there is like, yeah.
Dog.
And but also it was like it was the day where Colt was supposed to be going to karaoke with Jody to continue rekindling the relationship, but he missed that part. Um, this is also where bit by bit we get to see a little bit of cracks with Gail, because Gail was telling Jody that Tom has already left. um and yeah, we realized that that phone, with the help of Winston Duke and other tech people um in the business, they were able to crack the phone, and the Winston Duke and Colt saw that Tom roughhousing with his stunt double in a party in that said hotel room where we see the dead body found in ice was accidentally killed that stuntman. Rough housing because the stuntman was kind of like egged him along that Tom was bragging that he did all of his stunts, but actually he didn't. And then he
Yeah.
was kind of like gaslit by the stuntman, and then they played a little MMA grappling, and um uh Tom accidentally kills this person. But what had happened was
When it was videotaped
yeah,
or
they lost
phone.
Yeah.
the one. They were attacked when they found this out in Tom's apartment by a lot of people. The phone gets shot and broken. So he didn't have um proof anymore. But after all of this, Colt and Winston Duke was able to escape. Next day, we see that that particular footage was deep faked, so that instead of Tom killing the stuntman,
Colt.
it was Colt. All right. So, yeah, essentially, um, we end the movie figuring out that Gail was the one that kind of tricked or wanted to use Colt to be framed for this particular accident. That's why he was brought all the way to Sydney. Um, Colt connecting with Jody and Winston Duke, forget his name. Um,
Dan.
kind of figured all of this out, and they wanted to kind of like figure out a way to clear Colt's name. And the way that they did this was like, we realized that Tom is not the sharpest tool in the shed. He is always mic'd up, and he always says dumb things mic'd up. So they realized that they might be able to have him confess if he is one egged enough or stressed enough in a particular scenario where he'll answer anything that needs to be answered. So basically they wanted to trap him in doing his own stunt, an elaborate car chase, car scene, car jump, so that Colt can trick
Incriminate himself.
Tom in saying. So that's what had happened. Like there's a giant chase sequence, action sequence towards the end, where Tom eventually confesses to the crime. Recorded. There was also a little bit of part there where they started getting after the recording because Gail got into that trick as well. But in the end, um, uh, you know, uh, in the end, they were able to get the recording of Tom confessing to what had happened, and also confessing to that it was Gail's idea to do all this elaborate framing um, of of Colt. The funny thing about this is like, okay, there's a big hesitance on this being done because this is Jodie's directorial debut, and there might she'll lose her chance to direct anything again if anything happens to this particular movie. But through a very very fun uh uh end movie sequence, we see that uh they were able to quote unquote recast and do reshoots of the movie to replace Aaron Taylor. This was surprising. They replaced Aaron Taylor Johnson with Jason Momoa. So that was
But
another fun movie.
sad to say, he's a step down in acting compared to Aaron Taylor Johnson. It was really, you could really see the difference in acting.
Could really, yeah, but that's also like, a nice nod to where like this is what happens with movies. Like there's recasts,
They
there are
get recast. Yeah.
reshoots. But we do see, and also like it was the PA that had the idea
Uh-huh.
to say like, oh, let's bring in Jason Momoa right away so that they don't lose too much time and keep the movie, because
Yeah.
they could have just like scrapped the movie. So
Yeah.
that was a good
Yeah.
sign too.
And I
And
love that the energy Jason Momoa brought in was the same energy he brought in Aquaman too, man. So
it was you can really see the slap. He was really leaning into the crazy, like it was Aquaman slash Fast and the Furious slash my man kind of movie.
Yeah,
But we do see that the movie Metal Storm's trailer premieres in San Diego Comic Con. They were
uh-huh,
Hall
saying Hall H
H.
a lot, which is the main hall.
yeah,
Replacing Jason Momoa, replacing Tom as the lead. It eventually becomes a box office hit. Colt gets exonerated. Jody and Colt gets back together. Uh, and then there's also like a little post, like not like end of movie flashback where
yeah,
um Gail and Tom was surrounded by police, and then I don't know who the policemen and women are, but it
yeah,
seems like they are some legends that made that cameo
yeah.
right at the end, because I don't know, my audience had a
I think
pop when they saw those people.
Lee
But
Majors was one of them.
I think
Bionic Man.
so I don't know who Lee
Yeah.
Majors are. Oh, is that because
He's the
um
OG Bionic Man.
oh, got it.
Yeah.
It says here, okay, it's Lee Majors and Heather Thomas who starred as Colt and Jody respectively in the original TV series. So Fall Guys
Oh,
Ah, there
a
you go.
okay.
TV series?
There you go.
Okay.
I guess so.
Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. So, okay, that's I did not know that, but we had those as cameos at the end. But we just see Tom running towards
My,
the fireworks,
yeah.
um, and then he blows himself up. So yeah, it was fun. That was that's the Fall Guy. CHUBAX. Thoughts, favorite parts,
I really enjoyed it. My favorite parts were the set piece. This one, the one in the club when he was high. That was great
Mm.
shots
Yeah.
there, creative with the lighting and effects. Also love the highway scene where they were spinning on the
Oh yeah, the
Uh-huh.
dump
ground.
truck
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
so unique and
dumpster.
so cool. And then with the dog as well. And I did love that the PA was also badass.
Mm.
It was
Uh-huh.
Joy, I think, right? Joy from
Yep.
everything everywhere all at
Everywhere,
once.
every
Everything,
yeah,
yeah. Sue, Stephanie Sue,
So
something like that. Yeah.
yeah,
that was great. Uh, of course, all the fight scenes. I love Ryan Gosling.
yeah,
And Emily Blunt so pretty, but I think it was kind of obvious that she was so in love with him that it kind of lessened the for me it lessened the how's the term the conflict in that part because
uh-huh,
it was obvious she was in love with him, but I kind of like that
yeah,
it's
Yes.
not like the typical uh she's trying to be hard to get. She tried it a little bit, but it was obvious. She's
yeah,
like she accepted that. Nah, I still like him, and then she pivoted quickly. So I do like that part. And then
And she did get her revenge by like beating him up.
yeah, that I
oh
think
yeah,
that's that after that that's when she like realized that she still liked him after setting him on fire like a million times.
yeah,
That was also one of my favorite scenes where they were talking to each other through the microphone and everybody was
yeah,
Yeah.
around them and sitting there and even the robot and like oh that was I remember that now. It's funny.
yeah,
The
That made me
passive
laugh.
aggressive. But also the idea that, it's good that they didn't have that love story take too long, because
yeah.
he had a mental health break. Like he
Issue, yeah,
almost died. That his career,
yeah,
he always thought that he was invincible, and then he got into an
Hurt.
accident that really incapacitated him for a while. So that's kind of
yeah,
like, oh, okay. They were both candid and respectful of the accident and what had happened. So it's really, at least in that fun comedic thing, it was believable.
yeah.
Mm. Uh, we'll go with Arnie's few thoughts first before we get to our
Well,
ratings. Mm.
few thoughts. Like, I mean, Ryan Gosling. Basically, this is Ken Part Two, or basic. I mean, it's the same energy he put in with Ken. He took it really seriously. He's beaching right in this movie. I like the fight scene that he had as an alien with Emily Blunt, and Indiana is like, "Oh,
Mm.
nice work on that pen. That's good." And he's just like giving her feedback about the fight scene. the set pieces. I actually like the credit scene, the end credit scene. They were showing how they shot the shots.
Yeah,
That was
you're right,
that
you're
was
right,
that
you're
was
right.
nice. And yeah, it's also nice to basically a movie about stunt people and so yeah, so hopefully this picks up in streaming and encourages Hollywood to give credit where credit's due.
Oh,
And
we
also,
need
yeah,
the
like
Oscars for stunt. I can't imagine how that's
yeah,
not.
That is, I
yeah,
didn't realize that
yeah,
too, because I always assumed that there is something for
It's such a
stunt,
big
but
part,
okay.
and oh my god.
yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, it's kind of like what happened with Andy Serkis with the CGI acting, right? Because there was some controversy that there's no credit with the CGI people, but even Andy's like, nope,
Planet of the
it's
Apes still has
yeah,
not won any
yeah,
Oscars.
yeah, but it's like it's so the stunt people deserve their thing, their moment in the sun, I guess. Uh, it's also like, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, the story it's paper thin. There's a lot of plot holes, but it's just the set pieces. It's a fun popcorn movie. Uh, pe- People who appreciate stunt work, like, fight scenes, set pieces, uh, and even like there's a call out like, oh, yeah, I was doing the Universal Studios Miami Vice stunt 2 days, 2 days twice a day for 6 days. You're like, oh yeah, yeah, 'cause that's a stunt work area too. So I've seen that show, right? So yeah, it's a fun movie, and Gosling is, I don't know, he's doing his thing. And I actually almost didn't recognize M'Baku. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I guess
voice. It's the
He
voice.
was
I
like
got it.
he either he lost weight, or because of course you train for those roles, and then maybe this is his off season. So it's like, oh, that's how he looks like in real life. And I like that they're quoting movies. And like,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was good.
we do that all the time. So yeah,
Last of the Mohican. Shoo.
yeah, shotgun and the tomahawk, and it's like a rubber. Turned it to me, it was a rubber. And even like the fake
The
gun that
fake
he
gun.
used, I mean, yeah, he was able to convince the guy. So it was a fun movie, and a great use of cameo with, again, with Jason Momoa. I
That was
mean,
the best. I really enjoyed that.
because normally they would try to cast a similar actor, but like, yeah, let's go a different direction. Like, let's get the Duncan Idaho here. So we'll see. So yeah, so that's good. I mean, yeah, like I said, I hope it at least makes back the money, so that at least Hollywood would, maybe next
Prove
time
it
will be
again.
the costume designers. Maybe the costume designers will be put in the sun, or the makeup artists or something like that. So yeah,
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 again, I had such a great time with this movie. Again, you're right, Arnie. The plot is paper thin. The plot is a lot of Deus Ex Machina, a lot of, but that's the point. It's like this is one of the feel good, just have fun movies.
yeah,
There's a lot of layers in terms of educating the audience of what happens really in a movie. Not only about how complicated action scenes are, effects are, et cetera, but also the idea of what the people go through, like the PAs go through, the cameraman, the stuntmen and women go through, how little time people have to do a very special set piece. Because like we had that, my favorite part was the action sequence in front of the Sydney Opera House. So like,
uh,
yeah, we have 4 hours to do this, what, 4 minute, 5 minute scene. And then so they were choreographing there and shooting there. And that's kind of like, that's a nice macrocosm of like, it's really hard to make movies.
mhm,
Nobody wants to make a bad movie, but it's very difficult to coordinate weather, venue, actors, actresses, schedules, etc., etc. So that was a nice part. So yeah, I really had fun. I love the idea that this is just like, it is truly like in I don't know how you guys saw it, but when I saw it in the theater, there was like a warning, like, you turn off your phones, etc., by Ryan Gosling and
oh,
Leach. But he was saying like, yeah, it was meant that this is my love letter to the stunt community, to kind of like give them all the support and shine that happens that they don't usually
Yeah.
get. So it is like literally it's basically showing
Mm-hmm.
off what there's like 4 or 5 big stunt sequences,
Yeah.
and that was it. So I was like, all right, okay. So
Nice.
I really enjoyed that. And I don't know, sure, like I actually this is like a, one of the movies that could work both in the big screen so you could really see the big stunts, but
Yeah.
it's also fun to just have it on TV as well, just like on your home. So
Yeah.
I guess putting it into streaming quickly gets more people to watch it, hopefully, and appreciate stuntman and women. But we'll
Yeah.
we'll really see how this goes. But with that, let's go around the table and give our ratings. Let's go reverse. Arnie.
Okay, let's see. Definitely this will be higher than Rebel Moon. I will give this an 8, a mid 8, mid 8.
Mm. Chubax?
Oh, born. I'll go with a
Maybe
7.
7.
Mm.
Okay.
I mean, high 7. Like, I really enjoyed it. I just
Yeah.
the love story didn't hit home run for me. I still like them, but I mean, who
Yeah.
doesn't like Emily Blunt? But yeah, they could have made it a little deeper. But everything
Oh
else
yeah, same with
was
me.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same with me. I was gonna give it a 7 too. It's a solid 7. It's a fun
Yeah.
movie. Right? It's
Yeah.
a fun movie. I might if it comes on free streaming at some point, like if it's on Netflix, I'll pop it on.
Yeah.
It's just like yeah, story is not quite there, um, but everything else is fun. It's like a sit
Yeah.
down, open your eyes, kind of enjoy your movie. So
Yeah.
7 is not a bad score. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
the thing is, not a lot of slow-mo, Zack Snyder. I mean, the director, obviously, and even with Jodie, the director, she didn't utilize a lot of slow-mo with the stunts, and it was enjoyable to watch. It's quite refreshing, even though the trailer here is showing a lot of slow-mo. So, yeah.
Indeed, it's just fun. But yeah, final goodbyes. Let's start with Chubax.
Yeah, yeah, really. I actually had fun with this, and I watched it with the wife, so can't wait for more Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt stuff.
Yeah.
Arnie.
Well, this movie was enough to have popcorn and turn off your brain. But yeah, like I said, it's enough.
Yeah. Hey, it's a fun movie. I hope everybody supports it. I'm very, very not concerned, but like I'm interested to see how the recent trend of these, big budget movies going to streaming right away
Yeah,
will result to. But
yeah.
yeah, it's a great movie. Uh I
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's like again, Ryan Gosling is a movie star. Like as long as he's there, it's going to be a movie worth watching. And you have, surprisingly fun supporting actors and actresses. Emily Blunt is great. I loved
Yeah,
Winston Duke in it, even if he only had like 10-15 minutes in it. And of course, like Hannah Waddingham is like this
Amazing.
awesome bad person.
yeah,
Like she's just
yeah.
awesome.
It is a very diverse cast to it, without it being too in your face. If you've noticed, like we have an Asian girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Two female leads basically, and then an
And
African
then
American guy who's a lovable sidekick, and of course Gosling is a Canadian Ken.
we even have a
So yeah, I
dog.
mean it's fun.
And then they have
And
a
there's even
French dog.
a French dog.
French
There you go.
dog.
And then we have a Polynesian Jason Momoa.
Super cool.
Yeah.
All right. With that, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. We have a lot more fun cinematic masterpieces that we are going to be reviewing for our show. A few of which will be like we still have Furiosa up on deck. June
Mhm.
is going to be content apocalypse because there's so many things dropping in June, including the Acolyte,
Mm.
Boys. I don't watch House of the Dragon, but House of the Dragon is coming out. And then there's a few more that's coming out in June. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that we will be, funny enough, discussing week on week. But maybe the bear is coming in June too. I'm
Fair.
scheduling a day off just to like fucking marathon that thing because I know it's going to be insanely heavy. So yeah, don't forget to watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/plus63hp. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Help us out. Help us with the algorithms. Follow us on the socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram with at +63hp, and listen to us on your favorite podcasting app. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music. Just search +63hp. We also stream live or record all of these shows live every weekend on twitch.com/+63hp. Just hop on from 9:30 to 12:30 Eastern morning and evening Philippine time. Watch us record all of these stuffs and get see how the sausage is made. On behalf of Arnie and behalf of CHUBAX, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.